So Money Monster is set in the world of live television. In this case, it's a 1-hour daily program. It's like one of those cable financial advice shows you see all the time. George Clooney playing the host of the show. He's all into the theatrics and putting on costumes and all this stuff. Well, I work on a live television show here in Chicago. 3 hours a day I'm on the air, and I've been a guest on a lot of weekly type shows like that. So people always ask me, well, is it realistic? Is it accurate? I gotta say overall, yes. They had the lingo down pretty well. Julia Roberts, who's playing the director and the executive producer of the show, the commands she was issuing from the control room felt pretty accurate. The way the cameramen and the crew guys acted. You know, look, it's always gonna be heightened reality. Whenever a movie is about your profession, whatever you do for a living, people always say, well, I'm a cop, and a cop would never do that. I'm an accountant, and an accountant would never do that. Whatever your job is. Well, you gotta remember, they're taking a whole profession and a whole story, and they're compressing it to 2 hours. Overall, I think this movie actually does a pretty good job of depicting television news. Trust me, I've seen a lot of movies about TV news that are completely inaccurate. Most movies about radio, with a few exceptions, talk radio was one of them. Private Parts, of course, Howard Stern's movie I love, but a lot of movies about radio, the microphone's way over here, there's always like 50 people in the control room. Not realistic. As far as the newspaper profession, I've worked in newspapers for a quarter century. Spotlight from last year was dead on in its depiction of how news is gathered. Of course, All the President's Men remains the gold standard for newspaper movies. So in this case, sure, they play around with the facts a little bit. And there's a couple of times where you're just like, okay, that could never happen on a TV set. Overall, though, pretty good job.